From the Supreme Court, which sentenced the Calcutta High Court Judge Justice Karnan to 6 months imprisonment, holding him guilty of contempt of court. He becomes the first judge to be so sentenced to jail. Justice Karnan has been engaged in a running battle with the Supreme Court now for several months. Anusha with that story.
For the first time in the country's judicial history, a sitting judge of a high court is being sent to jail by none other than the Supreme Court of India. After months of slugfest in the top judiciary, the Supreme Court found Justice Karnan guilty of contempt and sentenced him to 6 months imprisonment. It all started with letters that Justice Karnan wrote to the PMO and also circulated to the top judges of the Supreme Court, alleging large-scale corruption in judiciary. For the first time, the Supreme Court took suo motu cognizance and constituted a bench of 7 judges to look into the matter. The drama had only begun. Justice Karnan first ignored the summons issued in his name, which led to a bailable warrant. Then he deposed before the Supreme Court, but his written apology was different from his oral submissions in which he stood by his allegations. The Supreme Court, at this point, ordered a medical test. This too was rejected by Justice Karnan.
You are saying very clearly that you are clearly a normal person of a stable mind.
You are feeling that I am psychiatric patient?
I'm not feeling anything.
I just want you to psychiatric patient?
No, sir. I only want you to have your side to be heard. Let the country know where you stand.
Suppose you are feeling that I am... No. 1 minute. Suppose... But there, please, suppose you are feeling that I am psychiatric patient, why you are putting on question? Why you are putting question on me?
Because you are a High Court judge who is a top newsmaker of the day.
Justice Karnan, despite being stripped of his judicial powers, went a step further and issued orders against the Supreme Court judges. The court on Tuesday held it as a grave contempt and abuse of judicial powers.
Many voices within the judiciary, like top lawyers and scholars, have questioned the powers of the Supreme Court to jail a sitting High Court judge. However, the broader debate is again brought to light, which is about need for more transparency in judicial appointments, and secondly, the need for more clarity and consistency as far as the contempt of court jurisdiction of Supreme Court is concerned. With camera person Pradeep Kumar, this is Anusha Soni for India Today.
So what are the lessons to be learned from the Justice Karnan episode? Joining me now, 2 eminent voices. I'm joined by Indira Jaisingh, former Additional Solicitor General, and Justice R.S. Sodhi, former High Court Judge of the Delhi High Court. Appreciate both of you joining us. Justice Sodhi, today is a sad day because you finally have a sitting High Court judge being sent to jail by his Supreme Court seniors on the ground of contempt. Do you believe that this entire confrontation could have been avoided, or was it inevitable given that Justice Karnan was going on targeting the court and the judiciary?
You see, yes, I personally think this could have been avoided. There was no need to bring it to this pitch and permit Justice Karnan to carry on and on targeting the judiciary. It could very well have been avoided. See, Karnan certainly crossed the Lakshman Rekha, and he should have been more careful. But at the same time, the Supreme Court passed one order to say that he is mad and have him mentally checked. No, he passed that order. Has that order been complied with? If the order has not been complied with, is this person mad, or is he in his correct mind? If he is mad, have you sentenced a madman? I mean, see, how many contempts have been committed in your own order? But then Supreme Court is final, doesn't have to be right all the time.
Let me bring in for a moment Indira Jaisingh on that point, because Indira Jaisingh, not only has the Supreme Court said that Justice Karnan will go to jail for 6 months for contempt, but they have also said that all his statements should be struck off. He is essentially to be gagged. Any statement by him cannot be put out in the public domain. Has the Supreme Court made this now a personal battle between the judges and Justice Karnan?
Well, it was looking like a personal battle from day one. And to come to the last point first, namely the gag order, it certainly undermines freedom of the press. If a person says things which are either defamatory or whatever, commits any offences, you have a right to take action against them in accordance with law. But to gag the press, it's a serious encroachment into freedom of press.
I mean, the gag is on Justice Karnan as well. The court essentially is saying here is a judge who they believe has been making who has been making wild and scurrilous allegations against his colleagues, saying they are all corrupt without providing evidence. Do you believe that Justice Karnan therefore deserves to be sentenced and put in jail with this gag order?
I do not believe that he should be sentenced for contempt. I do not believe he should be put in jail. I do not believe there should be a gag order. Let me come to the fundamental issue. Does the Supreme Court have jurisdiction to take disciplinary action against a sitting judge of the High Court? The answer is no. I therefore think the Supreme Court absolutely no jurisdiction to take any action against Justice Karnan. If they really wanted to seriously maintain the legitimacy of constitutional institutions, they should have recommended to Parliament or sent a report to Parliament to initiate removal proceedings. The Constitution has a provision for dealing with misconduct of judges. And Rajdeep, I think somebody needs to answer the question, how do people like Justice Karnan get appointed in the first place?
That's an interesting point. And let me take
this
that
question.
How
did he get appointed?
Let me take that to Justice Sodhi in conclusion. How does someone like Justice Karnan get appointed in the first place? A judge, because there is a record of this judge now over a sustained period of time of questioning authority, of challenging his fellow judges, of making all kinds of allegations. So there seems to be something fundamentally wrong in the manner he was appointed. That's my final point, Justice Sodhi.
You are absolutely right. I have already said that the Supreme Court has hijacked the Constitution. It has hijacked the Constitution, introduced a collegium system, and this is the result of that collegium system.
This is the result of that collegium system. So maybe the judges also need to look inwards, because this confrontation has left the entire judiciary in a sense wounded. Indira Jaising, Justice Sodhi, thank you very much for joining me on the news today with your perspectives.